I'm a metalhead of the 90s, so, and especially from Greece. So, when I'm coming to speak about metal, my favorite genres of metal are US power metal, epic metal, black metal, speed thrash metal, for example, old school Swedish death metal, things like that. What I'm saying that because of this reason, I'm not so close to the genre that we know it by the name nu metal, a genre that, or like also metalcore that came afterwards. This genre of nu metal became so famous in the beginning of the new millennia, in 2000 and something like that, and this genre was so famous for some years, afterwards declined. Today we have some style of a comeback of this style. Uh, so for this reason, I'm not so inside these bands. But here is a very big but. I'm not one that I will not listen to a genre at all. Uh, Always I will find bands that I like in every genre, music genre. So I don't have a problem to listen to things that maybe I'm not a great follower. And I can say, then this is a very big but, that there are two special bands from this style of nu metal that they are great. One of them, they are Slipknot, and second, even more for me personally, one of the greatest bands that came out in the new period of metal after the 2000, they are System of a Down, or SOAD, Sold, or simplicity, or simple by they are known by the name System. So, System of the Down is one of the greatest bands in my personal point of view, because they made something very new in their sound. They took things from groove metal, from thrash metal, from pop, from folkish Armenian music, and put it all together with a very great sound, a very catchy sound. So personally, I thought that they are the future of metal. Fortunately, after 2006, they made a big hiatus. They came back in 2010, but from then until now, they didn't make a new studio album. Only two songs in 2020 because of the war between Armenia and Azerbaijan. They made two songs, new songs, Protect the Land, and the second song, Genocide Humanized, something like that. But we're not sure that they will make a new album in the near future, but let's see. So, and for me, for this reason also, System of a Down, they continue the way of Faith No More, but for me, they're even better from Faith No More. System of a Down. Here I will try to rank their studio albums from worst to best. Let's say worst to best. There are 5 studio albums. They started in 1994 by the name System of a Down. The masterminds of the band, they are Serj Tankian, the lead vocalist and the keyboardist, and also Daron Malakian, the guitarist of the band. The beginning, they had another band by the name Soil, not Soil that we know, okay. And this band Soil, it was from 1992 until 1994. and they changed the name to System of the Dawn because of a poem of Malakian by the name Victims of the Dawn, and he's changed the name Victims to System of the Dawn. They made some demo tapes in the beginning, but their first debut album came out in 1998, also by the name System of the Dawn. And the big they became so famous especially because of their second album, Toxicity, that came out in 2001. From then until 2005, they made 5 studio albums, and in 2006 they started their hiatus, and only in 2010 they came back. They made a reunion and they started to tour together, but as I say, they didn't make which except of 2 songs in 2020 they didn't make something new. But we have to say also that after their hiatus, every one of them they started to have another projects. For example, Serj Tankian, he made his solo project. Maybe his first album of him, Elect the Dead of 2007, it was so great. Malakian, he made Scars on Broadway, in the beginning together with John Dolmayan, their drummer, and Dolmayan afterwards left also Scars on Broadway, and he made another band by the name Indicator, and the bassist Savo Odadzian, he made a hip-hop band by the name Akhuzen, something like that. Okay. All of them, they are from Armenian origin, Americans of Armenian origin, and until today they sold 12 million records. They won 1 Grammy award, and they were one of the most famous bands of metal music, and not only in the new millennium, and not only. So let's start and rank their studio albums. Okay, in the 5th place for me will come their debut album by the name System of a Dawn. Of course, it's a not bad album, but it's not in the same level like the other albums of them. In the 4th place, their 3rd album, Still This Album. They took the name of this album from Abby Hoffman's book, Still This Book. Okay, this album is not bad, but it came out after Toxicity, so for this reason I will put it in this place. It came out in 2002. Yes. In the 3rd place, their last album, their 5th album of them, by the name Hypnotize, came out in 2005. In 2005 they made 2 albums, the 4th and the 5th album, with a 6 months difference between them. This was the last album, studio album of them. A very good album. A little bit lower than Mesmerized, that it was before it, but also a very good album. And now, maybe some people will not agree with me, but in the 2nd place I will put their 2nd album, Toxicity, of 2001. I know many people like this album, worship this album. It's a great album. Because of this album they became famous, and really this is a great album, but I put it in the 2nd place and not in the 1st place because I started to know them because of their fourth album of 2005 also, by the name Mesmerize. And for me, this was an apocalypse. Until this time, I didn't know System of a Down. So when I listened to them with this album, Mesmerize, I was so mesmerized. This season, I will put Mesmerize in the first place, even their fourth album, even more than Toxicity. This is about my beloved Armenian Americans System of a Down. From Israel and from Jerusalem, stay metal and stay heavy.